Hey, what's up guys, Chris here and welcome to yet another Critics Visuals tutorial. Let's take a look at what we're gonna be creating today. Pretty awesome. Now, of course, this effect is not hard to pull off when you have the right assets, but I did have a couple of problems, and specifically it has to do with the electricity lines that were going through, and I had to put the smoke behind. So I thought to myself, I did find the solution, and I was like, you know what, this would be an interesting tip for you guys. So let's take a look. With that said, fire up After Effects and let's get started. Okay guys, so we're here within After Effects, and of course you can get this project file with all the assets through the Creatics Vault, link in the description. So let's take a look. This is my composition, as you guys can see, and I have the footage, the smoke assets, and then a matte that the smoke asset reads in order to be visible. So let's take it step by step. I'm going to isolate my footage layer right here, and this is how it looks when nothing is applied to it. So what you want to do whenever you do like effects that are, you know, it's like a landscape effect and you have the sky and the ground and maybe some things like poles, instead of going in and kind of doing the very tedious task of rotoscoping, you can create a matte, right? And this is a very old technique, the one that I'm going to use you, but one that does work fairly well. So let's take a look. What you do is you duplicate your footage, and as you can see, I have duplicated right here, and it's called footage matte. If I go to effects, let's close this, because actually let's do it again just so you see. So duplicate my footage, I'm going to effect, color correction, and press colorama, then output cycle, ramp, gray. Pretty cool. So now we created a black and white image basically, and that's what a matte is essentially, right? You can set a layer to either follow the luminance, which is basically the white, or follow the alpha matte, which is basically the blacks. And this is what we're going to do. Now this is very it has a lot of a very high range of whites and grays, and we want to make it more black and white basically. So what you're going to do is you go here to your ramp and you select anywhere that you want, and you select white to increase the whites, and as you can see, by rotating this you control the highlights. And let's say that you put like this, but now you can see that the blacks are all gone. You do the opposite, you insert a black arrow right here, and you do the same, and now you control the blacks. And if you play with those two things, you can see we can either expose for the ground versus the sky, or find a good balance between the two, right? And then what you do is you put it on top of your VFX essentially, and if we open it up, you'll see what it looks like. And as you can see now, the smoke only shows through, like it doesn't show through the ground, right? It only shows in the white luminance of the layer on top of it. But we have a couple of problems right here, as you can see. It does a pretty good job with the ground because we've exposed it to be black. But as you can see, we have those electricity lines that I talked in the beginning that the smoke is supposed to be behind. And here's the problem that I ran into. Let me remove this and open the original one. So as you can see here, the smoke is indeed behind the power lines. But how did I do this? So it was impossible, essentially. Let me open this one, to expose for the wires as well as the sky while playing with the colorama values, right? So this is what I came up with, looking pretty okay. But the problem is I could not expose for those big power lines because they were too small and too unidentifiable, let's say, in terms of their contrast. So here's what I came up with while I was trying different things. I was like, why not use something like a sharpening tool to sharpen them like extremely, and then use the colorama effect to create the matte? And to my disbelief, I mean, not really everything I do works 100% all the time, no questions asked, true story, not really. To my disbelief, it actually worked pretty well. So I'm gonna open the unsharp mask effect, which is usually used to sharpen things, and I'm gonna open them right here. And as you can see, I played around. Let me open this. So if I turn them off, you can see we cannot see them, and we have the exact same effect of colorama, right? But with the inclusion of the unsharp mask effect, we can see that we finally can see the power lines, and I actually have a fast box blur effect just to smooth everything out. So these are my values, and they worked for this one. Of course, I had to go extreme, like top value, max it out basically. Unsharp mask does not go any higher. And if you guys don't know this effect, you just go to effect, blur and sharpen, and unsharp mask. And then I played with the radius a bit because we're dealing with a very slim accent on the footage. And then I played with the duplication because, like I said at the beginning, unsharp mask does not go higher than this value. And at the end, this is what I got. And when I open the smoke, you can see that indeed the footage reads it as something that it should be behind. And of course, finally, I incorporated the signature LUTs, which of course you guys can have a look in the critic store. Highly recommended. It's truly an essential tool for professional looking stuff. This is how it looks, which I think it looks pretty awesome, guys. And of course, if you had more of a dynamic movement, can you imagine having to try to rotoscope with masks those power lines while you have a dynamic camera movement? Like, it would be close to impossible, or it will take you months, which in all honesty we all have better things to do than that. So this is a pretty cool tip, guys, that I thought I would share with you. And of course, the classic technique of when you have a foreground and sky, how to create a quick matte using colorama, which I hope you guys found very interesting, educational, and awesome. Hey everyone, Chris here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to check more awesome VFX and film stuff, do check out the channel. And of course, do not forget to visit the Critic Store, full of goodies like free assets, cinema signature LUTs, the black box, or even becoming the elite and gaining access to the Critic's Vault so you can take your work to the next level. Hit that subscribe / notification buttons, all kinds of things, and I'll see you on the next one. Till then, unleash your creativity.